Hello and welcome back, guys. So before we can do anything on this section of the website, what we need to learn is how exactly WordPress works. So because you can't fix something unless you know exactly how it works. So here's how we should learn that. So the first thing you must learn to do is find the WordPress developer site. So currently it's at developer.wordpress.org, but you can simply do a Google search. So this is a very important resource. You can't do without this. So once we are here, there's code reference. This is what we will be using quite a bit. And then there's here, want to learn how to make themes? Yes, that's what we want to do. And later, obviously, we're going to learn how to make plugins as well, and then blocks eventually. Now, a common question is, what's the difference between a theme and a plugin? Now, the difference is this. The theme is what shows you what's on the front side of the website, this. So this is the theme. Now, if you want to extend the functionality of the theme, maybe you want it to have something here. You can use a plugin, or you want to change some internal functionality of the theme, you can use a plugin. But the plugin is installed in a separate place than the theme. So which means you can switch your theme and the plugin will remain and it will still do the same function. So for example, let's say you are a theme creator and you create 4 themes, right? And you sell those themes to certain people. Now you may want a functionality that cuts through all these themes, regardless whether somebody changes the theme, they should still have that functionality. Then you put it in a plugin instead. But otherwise, internally, how the two things work is relatively the same. So not much difference when it comes to the coding itself. A theme is practically the same as a plugin from a code perspective, but we'll see the difference as we go. So in this one, it's just themes, not plugins. So here, if I click on code reference, right? Let's visit this one right here. There is this search bar here. Now, this is very important. You have to be able to figure out what you want from here. So we'll see how we'll be searching as we go. But the important thing to note is that in here, what you have to memorize are functions, that's number 1, and then hooks. So these two things are very important. Of course, you know what functions are, but what exactly are hooks? So this is the topic of this video. It's hooks. So the way things work in WordPress is like this. Let me use my paint tool here to explain a few things. Okay, let me just extend this a little bit, like so. Okay, there we go. So normally when you are doing PHP or creating websites, what happens is you have your index page like this, right? And then because you don't want to put all your code in one page like this, you have external files. Now these files, you simply add an include, maybe here. You say include this file when you get to this point. So the way PHP will work is it will load your index page, and then it will run lines of code until it gets to this point where you want to include another file, and then it will skip over to this file and then start running the code over here. And then when it gets to the last part, it comes back to continue where it left off there. So it will run again and repeat the process where you have a second include, it will load another file like this, bring back the content and continue like that. So at the end of the day, from the perspective of the computer, it's all one website. It's all the same. We just separated them because of our limitations as human beings. We need to read things in small chunks. And so the computer doesn't care about that. So from the perspective of the computer, this is all just one page. So it's a very important concept to keep in mind, because that's what the creators of WordPress used in order to make sure that we can manipulate anything on WordPress. So what I'm here to say is that anything you see here on WordPress can be manipulated. Almost anything, though. Maybe let me not say anything, but almost anything, from the front side to the back end as well. Anything here can literally be changed to your will. So let's come back here. So let's see how they made that possible. So with WordPress, the way it is like this. Instead of using the include here, instead of having an include like this one, what they did is they created what are called hooks. So when WordPress starts executing like this, it will execute line after line, and then it will get to a hook somewhere here. So a hook is simply a function. Now that function is put right in the middle of the code to tell it to take a break when it gets there. Okay, so there'll be a hook right here, for example, and this hook is going to ask the question, is there a file that I need to include here? It's not like this include, which simply goes to include the file, but it's going to check. Now instead of files, it's functions. Okay, so the hook is going to go and check in external files, and this external file is your theme. Okay, so your theme right here. So it's going to check, is there a function in here that I need to run over here? And if it's there, then it's going to include that function here. So it will run that function, and then when the function is done, it will return and continue to run the rest of the code. And then it will get to another hook and then ask the question, is there a function I need to run? If there is none, it will just continue to run and then get to another hook like this, and then ask the question again, okay, is there a function in this file that I need to run? If it's there, it will run it. This is very, very important to understand. This is very fundamental to how WordPress works. Now, if you had a theme like this one, and you had some plugins here, what WordPress will do is it will go through all the plugins and check for every hook that it comes to. It's going to check to see if there is a function that is supposed to run on that hook right there. So as a result, even the code that is inside the core of WordPress itself can be manipulated that way, because inside the core of WordPress there are hooks there as well. There are hooks everywhere. Okay, and not only that, you can add your own hooks if you want to change something, especially on your theme. You can add the hook. One thing we should always keep in mind is not to manipulate the core of WordPress itself. That's because when you upgrade, if you upgrade your WordPress, then any core functionalities that you changed will also be upgraded, and then it will stop running. So as a result, it's always a good idea to never touch the core of WordPress, only use plugins. That's why plugins are there. You use a plugin and then you plug it into a specific location, and then it will run there, so that even when this section is updated, it doesn't affect your actual files. They'll still just run at the same exact spot where that hook resides. So hopefully you've understood the concept of hooks here. So now I want to show you a hook in action. So let's come back here to our post. Okay. So this is the home page of our theme. However, there are hooks here that we can't see. But let's go to the same place we added our theme or our WordPress and figure things out from there. So I can't seem to find, okay, there we go. So this is where I've installed my WordPress. Now if I go to WP content here, and then I go inside themes, there are a couple of themes which are exactly these 1, 2, 3 themes, and also here we have 1, 2, 3 folders. Okay, pretty good. Now we're using the 2020, so I'll open this one. Now please copy this folder before you start manipulating it. If you're following along, because once you change something, you have to reinstall to get it back. So anyway, what I want to do is open the index.php page from here. So I'm just going to drag the entire theme into my Sublime text here so that we can do some close-up editing. So I want to go to the index page because this index page is what's displaying the home page currently. Now, what you see here is a function called getHeader. Now, inside this function, every time it runs, there's a hook in there, which means we can interrupt how it runs and put our own code in there to get the best of things. So let me show you an example here. Let's say we are, which place is this? Oh, where is this? Let's go to the header. Actually, we go to the header. Okay, header.php there. There's another function here, wp head. Okay, and then there's wp body open. So all these are hooks we can use. So if I go to my index page in the theme here, so if you look closely here, there is no function that is declared here. All these functions are simply being used in this section. They are not created here. The place where the theme creates its functions is called functions.php. So if you come down here and scroll down, you will see a function called add. Where is this? Add action right there. So this is how you hook a function to a specific spot. So this one right here is saying after theme setup. So this is a hook right here. So that's a hook. And this is the name of the function that will run at that hook. So I can create a hook anywhere. So you see this is the functions page and I want to create a simple function right here. So there's no need for you to follow along with this. This is just an example. I'll explain how all this works step by step, but this is just for you to understand what's going on. Let's create this one as my func like this, just a simple function here. And I just want to echo out we are here, for example, like this. Okay, so this is the index, the functions.php of WordPress. So then I can add an action here. So I'm just duplicating this one, and the action I want to add is right here. Let me come back to index.php. Where is that? There we go. So in the index page, there's getHeader, but what I want is maybe, let's see, what hook can we use here that is visible in here? Wait, it was in header.php. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so for example, this wp body open. So let me copy that and I come here and paste it there. And then I will run my func from here, my func. So what I'm saying is add an action on wp body open and just echo we are here, like so. So let's see if we're going to see anything there. If I now refresh, you see we are here, right there. Okay, so you see the text is here. Very good. But now look what happens if I change this from there to wp footer, like so. Okay, so the same code, I haven't changed anything on the function, I've just changed where it should run, and if I refresh, it disappears from there, but then it's down here. You see? Very cool. So this is how we can manipulate any part of this page. Now, if for example I want the hook to run somewhere here, I can create my own hook. As simple as saying add action. So right here, now no need to memorize these functions. We will do this step by step, so don't mind me here. I'm just giving you an overview of what we are doing here. So I'm looking for the part where it, so we have the navigation here. Okay. Okay, so header is closed here. So, oh, this is all the header. Sorry about that. Let me go to my index page. Yeah. So this is what I want after the header right here. So all I need to do is say do action like so. So I'm just going to call this one my own hook like this. Okay, so I've added a hook here. I'm telling it that once it gets here, I would like to run a few functions right here. So all I need to do is copy that hook name and then come back to this same function and put it here. Then it means that function will now run when it gets to this point. So let's see that in action, and I'll refresh. So there it has disappeared. Where is it now? I can't find it. Oh, there we go. So we are here. That's where it's running now. So just by moving this function to a different location, I can change where the thing will run. So let me paste it here. Let's see where the difference is. Refresh. We are still at the top. So there we go. If I now move it right about here, just before the footer, if I refresh, you will see we are here now. Okay, pretty good. Now, if you go to the code reference here, where is that? You see you can search for hooks here. If I select and then type, for example, WP, and then it's going to bring me all the hooks that I can run. You see, there are about 2,000 hooks if I'm not mistaken, so they are quite a lot, and it's very easy to forget them and very difficult to memorize them until you start using them. So what I would like you to do is keep a separate file where when you see a function that I use, you write it there and what it does, and then the hook, you also write it down and you save that file. Over time, you're going to learn to recognize these things very easily, but it's a good idea to write them down. And then if you go through this, this current theme, and every function that you see here, you can easily check what it does. For example, get template part here, I can just copy like this. This is obviously a function, so let me paste there. And then it's going to show me what it does. So if I search here, then I get some results. The one I want, this one is a hook. You see it says it's an action hook. Now there are two types of hooks, but for now, let's just stick to action hooks. We'll explain the filter hook later on, but let me click on get template part as a function because it has those double braces, so which means this is a function. So it explains here what it does. It provides a simple mechanism for child themes to overload reusable sections of the code in their theme. So we'll be using this one quite a bit so you know what it does, and then here it shows you what you're supposed to supply inside that function for it to work. So this is why this section is very important. All right, so hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. And also the thing is, it's not only on the front page here that you have hooks. Even on the admin section, there are hooks everywhere. And not only that, there are also hooks in the core of WordPress. This is before it even displays anything. There are hooks there as well, which you can find, and then you can try to use them. Now, the advantage of WordPress is that you can install plugins. So let's go to a plugin and add a new plugin. Now, this plugin is going to help us to debug our system. So if I go to add new plugin, and here I search for hook like this. So I want to show you a function that will show you where every single hook is so that it's easy to remember. So this one, show hooks right here, install. So once we install this, we're going to be able to see what hooks are there, and also those hooks that are not part of the page, those that are internal, will be shown as well. So this is very, very beneficial. So let's activate that plugin. Okay, so once we activate, we are good to go. It takes a while. Yeah, and then we get here. So show hooks is activated, or otherwise if it wasn't, you can just click here to activate or deactivate. And then now we have a new thing here that says show hooks. So if I go to my home page here and refresh the page, there's show hooks now. So if I click on show hooks, look what happens. So the hooks in black are the ones that have actual functions that are running, and the other ones that are muted are the ones that have no functions that are running. So this can be very helpful. So you see all these hooks run before even the page loads, and then these ones run here. So you see there's one hook over here, there's another one here, another one there, and even this one here, get template part, this one, that one. So as you can see, there are hooks everywhere. And if you notice, there's my own hook here, which we created, and it shows that there's one function running on it. Okay, so there are numbers here to show how many functions are running there, and even the names of the functions that are running on that part. If you hover on it, you see a list over here. So very, very useful. We're going to be using this quite a bit. So if I, for example, I want to, so this one is echoing something here. That's why it's here, because the hook is there as well. Okay, so please go through this video. If you didn't understand much in here, please go through it several times, because this video is the most important video of the whole series. It's important to understand this concept of hooks and why we use them. Okay, so now that we understand this, I will see you rather in the next video, where we begin to actually use these hooks to do some useful stuff. Yeah, I'll see you then.